Hello, my name is Dan Roshan, and today I am joined with Hero Nation's Kelly Garcia Kilmer. Sorry, Kil. Hello, Kelly. How are you?
Hey, great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much. So, Kelly, I'm really excited to be speaking with you. And you are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You are a realtor. You're a mom. You're a motivator and a coach with Hero Nation, and you're an award-winning agent in the Oklahoma real estate market. Is that all correct?
That's all correct. Just some of the many things that I do.
All right. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So today, Kelly, we're going to be talking about, manage your time as a real estate agent. So if you're a real estate agent and if you've ever been in a place that you've been challenged with how to manage your time, or your time's got sucked away from you, then you should be watching this, because Kelly's going to walk us through how to really manage our time, how to time block, schedule, how to be more effective with the way that we use our time.
Right.
But Kelly, so tell us a little bit about yourself. So tell us how long you've been in real estate sales, and how'd you get started, and love to hear about that.
Yeah, so how I got started, and again, just thank you for having me here today.
My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. But how I got started was just looking at things a little differently. So I was a school teacher, and my husband and I took a look at, we were renting a property. It was a duplex property. And we're like, you know what? This landlord is banking. Like, he's got a couple of these things. We're figuring out what the rents are and everything. We're going, these doing all right. We need to be investors in real estate. So at the age of 22, I bought a duplex building. I lived in one side and we rented the other side out. And the other side covered our mortgage, which I thought was the most genius thing ever known. And it was just like, hey, all my friends have to make a payment or a rent payment or house payment, and I don't. So I thought, I've hacked the system. It grew into a lot of rental buildings. I did not have a real estate license. I was teaching school. I was managing all this real estate, doing quite a bit. And here and there, we'd sell something or, buying things, but we're using the services of other real estate agents when we needed it. But a lot of it we did on our own, just, by owner here to here. But after a few years and through the mortgage crisis, end of 2000s, it got a little weird because all of a sudden the rentals were great, but there were a lot of foreclosures. We saw them everywhere, every block, every street. We put away some money and thought we need to be investing in these as well, not just multifamily buildings, but just some single families while they're cheap. There's so many of them. So started investing that way. Around 2010 is when I made the big shift to get licensed. So got my license. We're doing so much real estate, thought, I need to have my license. Perhaps I could help others, with this. It was a dream. Like, I could help others do what I've done. I could help them buy and sell things. So did that, got my broker's license to open my own brokerage. And so 20 something years of real estate, because that's already been a decade ago since I did that. So again, quite a bit of experience in the management side. And now just as a broker, then an independent agent with a large brokerage, then a team leader. I've done kind of a little bit of all of it.
Very cool. And so it was really, setting yourself up for a good financial future, getting that duplex, renting out the other side and living for free. And then recognizing the opportunity of a shifting market in the 2010s, nines, and then getting your real estate license so that you could help others to achieve their financial destiny as well. Is that correct?
That's it.
Cool. And you've now have transitioned into, you still own your real estate sales team in Tulsa, and you also spend a lot of your time helping other agents across the country with Hero Nation. And so one of the things that I know that is a challenge for a lot of agents, and I'm sure that your clients have shared some of these challenges with you, is really just, all the time pressures that we have in real estate sales and business in general. But we could spend 24 hours a day every day and still not get everything done. So how would you, if I was your client right now and I was coming to you and say, Kelly, I'm Dan, I'm pulling my hair out, like literally I pulled it out already. How would you coach me?
Okay, say I lost you there for a second. Your screen froze. But how would I coach you? Like, how to get our schedule together? Was that the question?
Sure, absolutely, it was.
Yeah, so that is number one, I think, with agents is they want to do more in less time. They're either producing really well and it's killing them because they're not seeing their family, they're not getting any personal time, it's just killing them, or they're not getting the results they want and they're frustrated with what's going on. And both of those things can go back to scheduling. It's like, what are you doing with your day? How efficient are you being, either with lead generation or managing the business that you already have if you're already producing really well? So one of the things I ask first is just, let me see your calendar. What's it look like? Show me what your normal week looks like. And I a lot of times get the answer there, what do you mean normal week? I'm in real estate. I never know what's going to happen. Somebody might show up today and want me to list their house. I might have a closing scheduled. I might not. I don't know. But that's really one of the big myths of what we do. And a lot of us came to real estate because of the freedom, right? It's like, I get the freedom. I can be my own boss. I can do what I want. But then they realize if you don't control some of these things, it can be disaster, for your career, and a lot will get out of the industry completely because they can't handle the freedom, or the freedom is so much you get addicted to the sale. You're doing really well, and then you just quit and destroy other areas of your life, right? So one of the first things we'll do is look at the calendar that you have existing, if there is one at all. There's some that don't really have a set calendar. Look at it, see where your time priorities are, because I should be able to see what your priorities are based on your calendar. So if an agent, I'm looking at their calendar, they've got not a whole lot of time set for lead generation, or it's ineffective lead generation, or there's nothing really set there, then we have a place to start and go, hey, let's figure out what we need to be doing to make this work in the most efficient amount of time. So I actually have a worksheet. We'll go through a worksheet and pencil in, like, what would your ideal week look like? And this is what one of these worksheets look like. It's got all the numbers, the time blocks, and just kind of work it out. Like, what would this look like ideally if you were actually focused on your goals? And sometimes I get the answer like, well, I don't really have a whole lot of goals. I just know I want to sell this many homes this year or there. So we'll take that and back it down into daily activities. So it's another worksheet that I've got that's like, okay, well, let's say your goal is you're going to close 30 transactions by the end of the year. That's huge. It's like, we would do 10 a month. It's a whole bunch. Well, we're going to take that down to like, what does that equal in daily activities? That might be a crazy goal. So it's like, well, maybe our actual goal is that we're going to close 9 by the end of the year. Let's be realistic rather than just having this pie in the sky. So it's like, okay, we're going to do 9. Well, what does that look like in daily activities? So what does it look like on a weekly basis? What does it look like on a daily basis? Activities we're going to do to get there. So even deeper is, what are these activities that get us there? So a lot of us are working under a mentor or a group or something that goes, okay, you're going to lead generate for 2 hours a day. And that can mean a lot of things. Some of us think right away to like cold calling as far as lead generation. Think, well, I'm going to call buy owners, or I'm going to call expireds, or I'm just going to make phone calls. And yes, that is a form of lead generation. Those are all great forms, but there's other forms too, like networking, farming neighborhoods, doing lots of other things. And if it's not actually set, like you're actually going to do that in your calendar, then it kind of doesn't happen. It's like, we all know exactly what we should be doing, or we know what we could be doing, but we don't know what we must be doing on a day-to-day basis based on what works for us, our personality style, and our actual results. So last week I had a client was like, here's where I get business. She's like, oh, I do these events and I know a bunch of people, I have past clients, but then I also use social media. So great. So go ahead to this whole year, and if you don't already have it tracked, let me know how many of your transactions this year came from each one of those sources. And she was shocked at the result, because social media was a distant third for her as far as her efforts, yet that's where most of her things had been coming in from. So she's like, oh my goodness. She goes, I thought that those events I was having were actually resulting in the most business, and they're not. And I was spending a ton of time to make them happen and a ton of money. So they weren't really profitable anyway, even the stuff I was getting from that. So we drilled this down to, what should we be doing on a social media calendar, and let's focus on it. So it's getting it drilled down to.
You're looking for efficiencies then. So
yes.
Let me go back just a second. I want to learn more about that. Before I do so, you shared with me that there's a, the first step is really, hey, let's take a look at your calendar. How many would you suggest, like percentage wise, like have some sort of agenda or a clarity on that?
No, I'd say probably 80%.
Okay. Yeah. So that's really for most, that's really sort of the starting point is, here's the opportunity of, let's box in your priorities into an agenda, so that then we can, once we do that, then we can become efficient with the activities that we do.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a lot of, I'm gonna say probably 100% of agents have a calendar. But what I see on that calendar is things like, personal events, pick up the kids at school,
Yeah.
little Johnny has karate, I have a doctor's appointment on Friday. Those are the types of things I'm seeing. I'm not seeing blocked like gym time, lead generation time. This is the block where I show homes, even when they don't have a buyer. It usually goes the other way around. They give their buyer or the control of that situation by saying, oh, when would you like to go look at homes? Buyer says, oh, I have Saturday or this time. So they've given, from the very beginning of the relationship, they gave the buyer the control of their schedule, rather than saying, here are the times that I show homes. Tuesday at 2, I also show Thursday evening, Friday evening. They don't have that set. So it's that in the very beginning, you can set some boundaries with your clients because you have it in your schedule. This is the time that I do production work. If you're both a buying and a listing agent, you do both, you can call that block production work. It doesn't have to be just, showing homes, but it's a block there where that's where you do the actual listing appointments and working with your buyers.
Sure. So if I schedule my listing appointment, then I'm going to say, I'm going to do 1 listing appointment a week, 2, 3, however many listing appointments that I choose. And then my job at another scheduled time is basically to fill in the blanks.
Right. And it's funny how the universe works that way, that you'll fill those times. So we'll set out 8 to 9 blocks for their production work throughout the week. They're 2-hour blocks. So an open house could be a block in there. Another block could be a listing appointment. But it's very interesting how they are able to fill those times because they're there. They create them and they're like, oh, I still have 3 blocks open this week. So what goes there? And what really the answer is, you're going to fill it. If you absolutely can't put production in there, then that's a lead generation block. Yeah. Rather than I'm just going to do nothing because I have, there's nothing there. So I'm just going to kind of chill out. So
sounds like you're sort of using it as like a linear pathway of your lead generation first, and then your client production time second. And if I don't have the opportunity for client production, then I revert back into the beginning of the series for the lead generation and then move forward. Do you understand that?
Absolutely. Yeah, the lead generation time still sticks because a lot of agents will get on the roller coaster, right? You get busy, you got things going on, and you stop with the lead generation block because you're busy. So then once all those things close, then now you have no business. So you learn to lead generate again, and you get stuck in this cycle of on again, off again, great months, and then it's followed by a bad month. Now it just happens that way. I want to add too that I have blocks in my schedule, and I encourage my clients to for the personal side too. So I mentioned gym time, the doctor's appointment, those things, of course, but also date night, time with my kids. I've got 4 teenagers in my house still, 18, 17, 16, and 12. No, there's blocks of time for spending time with them, doing their events, going to their activities. But the really important stuff is like that, the date night and the time with them, because if it's in your block, then you've given yourself permission to be there. So as an agent, if you're sitting at your child's football game, watching, and you're going like this, like, hold on, I need to schedule this appraisal. Is that guilty? I mean, guilty because that was me. I'm the person who's trying to do things all the time and pay attention. When we get these blocks set, your family knows that when you're in your lead generation block, that's what you're doing. And when you're at date night, that's what you're doing. You put the phone down, and pay attention to the people around you. And it just gives you that like mental, you can drop the guilt about not being, here's my schedule. I follow it like clockwork, and I don't feel guilty when I'm not at one place or the other. It's like, it's okay. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah. So it allows for you to have a more controlled and structured life, and also have more predictable results, because I know that, and it sounds like you're taking a look at your priorities of, well, if I want to be physically fit, then I would schedule time for the gym. If I want to have a healthy relationship with my spouse and my children, I would schedule the time with them. If I want to have a healthy business, I would schedule the time for time blocking and production. And it seems like those 4 things that I've heard you speak about thus far are high priority type actions.
Yes, for sure. And I know what you're thinking. Like this lady runs like a tight ship, like a classroom. Every hour is scheduled, right? And agents sometimes push back at that. They're like, "No, I got in here for the freedom." I'll remind them that when I started doing this, it was a 5-day work week. I'm going to work Monday through Friday, and sometimes a 6-day too, because I'm going to show houses on the weekends and so on. I've narrowed it down to a 4-day work week that looks like this, and it's actually kind of a 3.5. By Thursdays at noon, I'm out of that tight blocking. So it happens from first thing Monday morning till about Thursday midday. I'm in pretty tight schedule. And then beyond that, it's flexible. And that allows me to say, like, it's like, hey, you want to run out of town for a weekend? We're going to go do this. Great. I have a 3-day weekend. Whenever I need to, it's clear. So, and that time is flexible. If I choose to work, great. If I choose to just take a 3-day weekend off and not, that's okay too. So it's there. So I've narrowed it down and I figured out I can do that for 3.5. And then I take that mental break. I don't live like that strict. I think it's impossible for us humans, especially agents in our crazy minds, to do that. So I just train myself to be really, really intentional for 3.5 days a week. And that's it.
Yeah. You're reminding me. I'm not sure I'm going to get this right. Maybe I think I will. A former Navy SEAL, Jocko Willink, says that the freedom comes from the discipline.
Oh, and yes.
I think I got that right.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hearing you say there.
Absolutely, and that's what frees you up. So you get those weekends where you can just be present. Or, your weekend may be midweek, maybe Tuesdays and Wednesdays that you decide those are your free days. That's okay. No, it's like, well, but you need it. You need that mental break. And it's true. It's freedom when you get there.
You already know 87% of all real estate agents fail in this business. And you also know it doesn't have to be that way. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for consistent and predictable income, I invite for you to get your free copy of Real Estate Evolution, the 10-step guide to CPI, consistent and predictable income for real estate agents. And you can do so when you visit www.therealestateevolution.com. I'll share with you your book that I authored to show you the way. And it's free. You just have to pay for the shipping. Thanks.
So what do you see for, I know you've been in various leadership positions and coaching positions, and you're in the trenches as well. What do you see as the biggest challenge that an agent may have in regards to taking a look at following a system such as that?
It's the people around them, I think, is that they think you're crazy. When you first lay out like this, something like this, you go home and tell your spouse, like, look, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, what? Like, this is not normal. This is like, what are you trying to do here? I think it's that. And getting the distractions out. That's the other thing. We are constantly like distracted by things, the emails, the phone calls, the Facebook, the everything. And if part of your lead generation strategy is social media, you get on there and you start doing something, but you know how easy it is to get sucked in the Facebook hole, and you're looking at stuff for hours and now you've lost that time. So when you do this, you've realized, okay, I have to be intentional. If I'm getting on there to do social media for my business, great. I'm going to be here for 10 minutes and then I'm out because I've got something else on my calendar. So say that's the biggest challenge, is kind of getting the distractions around you calmed down, which may be the people around you. For me, I had to come to the office. I had to make an office space to be in rather than at home. There's too many distractions to run it. My team knows when here's my schedule. And I did make, like, for my team and my family, they have access to my calendar. Yeah. So I don't get the blow up, text, email, call, whatever, like, why isn't she answering? No, they can look at my calendar and know why I'm not answering. She's here. She'll call me when she's done.
Yeah. And I would believe it's also about communicating the priorities with those around you. And you mentioned about somebody that's new to doing this, that their spouse may be like, what's going on? And I've even heard of spouses getting a little bit annoyed with it. Like, what, I have to do schedule time with you and communicating. No, honey, like, you are the most important thing in my world. And when I'm with you, I want to be 100% with you. And I have to play my part in feeding our family. So when I'm working my business, I would prefer to be 100% with my business as well, or whatever else is a priority.
Yep, and vacations too. You can go,
Sure.
most agents go on trips, which means you get sand in your laptop. You ever been on one of those? Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, me too. Guilty.
Yeah.
It's that trips instead of actual vacations where you have that time. And that's a block too that you have to learn to do, is just block it out and go, nope, I'm on vacation. So.
Awesome. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is business networking. And, so understanding, because you mentioned about efficiencies earlier in the conversation. And so understanding, like, okay, and then you also mentioned about lead generation, how it doesn't have to be like banging out the phones calling for sale by owners expires. It could be that. Yet what resonates with you to your behavior. So tell us about, how can I utilize a business network to be able to do a more effective, efficient, productive, profitable business?
Yeah, so thank you for asking that, because that is something I'm really passionate about. I found it kind of, again, a hack in efficiency in lead generation. And it's like when you do call by owners expired, you're working with people, and particularly I worked with a lot of people who are moving out of town. I was doing relocations and things. So I get this client that I help them sell their house. They're thrilled. I get a paycheck and they leave. And that's kind of the end of it. I worked hard to keep a database going for future referrals, but I realized that most things that I closed would send a referral maybe once over the next year, maybe once over the next 2 years. They had a good experience, they're going to send referrals, but it wasn't consistent and it wasn't a lot. So I'm looking at this going, how can we do this better? And I fell into it. I was invited to a networking group that was other business owners. And I watched this thing happen. It was amazing. So I get in the group with these business owners, and I'm thinking, first, how can I help them? I want to help them. They're asking for referrals for all their different businesses, from insurance to lawn care to whatever. So I thought, hey, I work with a lot of people that need those kinds of services. So I'm going to do everything I can to help them build their businesses. And I did it for a little bit. Now, this doesn't have to be an organized, structured networking group. I know there's a lot of brands and franchises out that do it. I was a member of one of those, but this could be just a crew that you use. You're probably already giving money to a handful of contractors, an electrician, a plumber, a lawn care person, pest control. You're already sending them business anyway through the process of real estate. If you get intentional about it, you make that list and you send them the referrals, something magic happens is they feel friendly to you and a little bit obligated to you because you're sending them business. This is where you win, is you start teaching them how to refer you. So it's actually giving them some scripts and some information on how we work. So we let them know, hey, if someone else is listed with another agent, I can't call them. They usually don't know that. They think, oh, well, my friend's listed with an agent and they don't like their agent, so you should call them. Like, no, I can't. That's against our rules. But what's not against my rules is calling someone that has a by owner sign in their yard. So I know that you are out, Mr. Lawn Care Guy, mowing lawns all day long. Can you do me a favor? If you see a by owner sign, take a picture of it, take a picture of the address and send it to me. Or if it's actually your customer that you're mowing the lawn, could you ask, how they're doing on their home sale? And I actually gave them some scripts on that too. It's tight scripts. They're not having to learn all this big stuff, but just to ask, how long are you intending to be by owner? Or have you interviewed a couple of agents? I see that you're selling by owner. Have you interviewed a couple agents too? And seeing what their answers are. And the answer is always, this is where I really had to train them. The answer is always, when you ask somebody like that, do you know an agent? Are you going to list with an agent or this, that? They always like, yeah, I know. Definitely. I know my cousin's an agent. Oh, we have a neighborhood guy here, or the guy we used last time. They're going to say yes. Everybody knows a realtor, or everyone knows an agent. It's just like walking into Macy's and they say, can I help you? Your response is, no, thanks, I'm good. It just happens like that. They're like, oh yeah, I know an agent. But deeper, I always ask them to ask another question, deeper than that, and throw in, oh, have you talked to a couple of agents about interviewing for the big job of selling your home? Just planting a seed that they probably should be talking to more than one agent, not just the one that is in the neighborhood. Yeah, it's like they should interview a few people and make a decision, like just kind of dropping that seed there. Or if the electrician is in and they're doing electrical repairs and they mention, we're doing this because we're going to be selling our house soon. Great, same thing. Oh, first question, do you know, you have an agent ready to go? Have you signed with an agent? And they say, oh, no, but we know this guy, whatever. Oh, cool. Well, you know what? That's really good. Hey, hopefully you're interviewing a couple of agents. So, here's someone you should really talk to. Do you mind if I give her your name and number? Again, the triangle, I want to be able to call them, because if the card gets passed over, they're probably not going to call, right? So I want them to collect that information, ask if it's okay if I call them. It opens the door wide open for me to call. And then I can say, hey, my friend Jeremy, he's actually an electrician. He was at your house today. How was your service? And they're like, it was great. It was okay. It was great. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, perfect. Well, he mentioned that you were doing electric service because you're thinking about selling your home. I work with agents. I work with buyers in your neighborhood all the time. And I would really love a chance to meet with you and see your home. Would Friday work? So it gives me a chance to let them know that I'm ready to sell their home. Whether they list with me or not, I am totally ready to take a look at this home and get it ready for my buyers. So it's the referral network, and it still goes on to this day. It just keeps getting bigger and keeps going exponential, because I continue to feed my business referral partners with business, and then they think of me when it's time, to think real estate, and they ask that second question instead of just going, hey, a realtor? And they're like, oh yeah, we know somebody. Okay, good, thanks. No, that's the end of it. And I just tell them that, everyone's going to say that. So if you're going to make an effort to talk to them, just, can you ask the second question, please? Are you open to interviewing a couple of agents? And then they will get that door open for me, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. And Kelly, thank you for sharing that with us. Something that I heard you say, two things that I want to sort of pull out, make sure that the viewer is caught, was you started by sharing, I'm going to help you first. And then you carried on to, I'm going to say, these aren't your words, but they're mine, is following the law of reciprocity. So when I help you, you almost feel obligated to help back. And so I'm going to lead first by helping you. And then in return, you're going to feel as though if you want to help me back. Is that what I'm hearing you?
Yes. And you can build an entire business around this form of lead generation alone. And kind of the thing is, it needs to be in your schedule. So my time, I actually go to a networking meeting. It's an hour and a half on Wednesday mornings. It starts at 7 a.m. in our central time. That felt like the earliest time that anybody would ever meet. When I started going several years ago, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to die. Realtors don't work at this hour. This is awful. But then I realized quickly that is the hour that the business owners were up doing business. And now a 5 a.m. wake up call is no big deal. It's that's just normal for me to run a miracle morning. But back then it was a challenge, but it opened my eyes to, this is important and it needs to be consistent to make it work. So it's part of my lead generation blocks every Wednesday year round. It's going to happen whether I feel bad, whether business is good, business is not so great, whatever. I'm going to get there and build consistency.
Kelly, we're running a little bit short on time, but I wanted to ask you a question just for a little bit of clarity's sake. Tell us, what is a miracle morning?
Yeah, it's a miracle morning. So it's the book by Hal Elrod. There's the miracle morning for real estate agents that Michael Mayer went in on that. And I listened to a podcast last week. He's like, that's why it's been so successful, because people normally read a book and they put it down. People like me read the book and talk about it for years. Miracle Morning is just having a morning routine. You don't have to run the exact schedule there, but just a great morning routine that gets your body going, gets your mind going, gets your focus set for the day. And that way you can accomplish all these things and just be, very intentional about what it is that needs to be done for the day. Makes a total difference instead of just popping up, hit snooze 4 times, run into the office, where's my coffee, spend an hour trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, and then you pick up the phone. You've already wasted half the day.
So be intentional, get that energy rocking and rolling. And then when I get to the office, I'm ready to do productive activities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it works. It does. And miracle mornings don't. Again, it doesn't have to be 7 days a week. If you can work it into 3 or 4, you're going to see really great results. Beautiful.
Kelly, I know that you do coaching. So if is there a certain type, a certain category or history or of an agent that would be an ideal referral for you?
Yeah, all agents, lenders, commission-based salespersons, those of who they eat what they kill are a perfect client. And all around the real estate industry is great for me, because those are the people that I focus with. But no, new agents are great. experience building teams. Most of my one-on-one clients are people who are leading or building teams, but I have some agents that are in their first and second year as well. Also some new home construction, like sales consultants there, but because we don't just teach calendar, it goes a lot deeper. So yeah, a lot deeper.
Just a little taste for them.
Yeah.
How can I get in touch with you? Find out more about your coaching.
So I'll tag in a link here that you can get on my schedule for a 30-minute one-to-one, and we can talk about the topic that's bugging you, whether it's lead generation, calendar, or otherwise, setting goals, family balance. And then my other thing is the fitness thing. That was the piece that I added to my business several years ago, was getting myself in shape, not just my business in shape. And it made a huge difference in what I could do in a day. So health and fitness coaching too.
Fantastic. Kelly, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us today. And thank you very much. And if I can ever help you, please let me know.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. So agents, get after it. Let's see your schedule.
All right. Bye.
Hey, what's up? I'm Jeff Cohn with Elite Real Estate Systems and KW Elite Keller Williams, and I can't say enough about CPI. Consistent, predictable income. If you're looking for a coaching organization that's going to help you step by step ensure that you're executing and implementing the exact systems and strategies and processes to take your real estate business to the next level, there's not a better option out there.
Hey, Jessica Peterson here with eXp Realty out in Florida. I just wanted to hop on really quick and give a big shout out to Dan. I always say Dan the man in regards to his CPI certification. So Dan, I am grateful for you because I came to you a little unclear of what was the best ideal team structure for myself and my customers. And after, working with you on that team structure, it was amazing. It went so well along with my other mentor at eXp, talking with you. It just came up with the right perfect solution and what I was looking for. So anybody who's looking at building a team, definitely talk with Dan. He is someone who has some amazing insight and he's been amazing himself at it. I also, through the journey, discovered that Dan's wisdom and insight was very valuable for new agents. I was sitting here thinking, wow, this is some really good information. So thank you, Dan, for stepping forward, creating this certification and allowing me to go ahead and be a part of it. And anyone who connects with you will definitely be wowed.
Hey everybody, it's Johnny Moe. How are you? Just wanted to give a shout out to Dan and the CPI community. I've spent a decade helping and training agents to build predictable income and onboard them into the industry. And the work that Dan is doing, I know it's not easy. I know it's relentless. And I know it's a lot of hard work. And the work that he's doing is fantastic. Really plug into what he's talking about. Listen to what he's saying and put it into action, put it into practice, because he's going to be able to help you get off of that roller coaster that agents everywhere, every agent has gone through. Anyways, tap into the community, ask questions, learn, and do. Peace out, everybody.
Hi, my name is Pradeep Sangha, and I'm an international coach. I work with executives and entrepreneurs, and I'm here to tell you that if you haven't seen some of Dan's work, you got to check it out. Dan is an amazing individual. I had the pleasure of having him on my podcast and also being a guest on his podcast. And he is one of the few individuals that I can say is not only genuine, but also has that drive, ambition, and the knowledge and skills to really get results. So whenever it comes to his, you can say his community, the consistent and predictable income community, his podcast, the work that he's doing in terms of coaching individuals, especially in the real estate space, I think the work he's doing is absolutely phenomenal and amazing. And I recommend that you take a look and take out some time to check out his work. And if you have the opportunity to contact Dan and get direct coaching from him, I would highly recommend that.